Okay, I started the recording. All right, so let's do a release. So first we're gonna create a new GitHub milestone for the new release. And feel free to interrupt me if you have questions, Cheyenne. New milestone. So this is gonna be the next release, not this one, next one. It's gonna be v1.3. I will leave the due date empty for now. I guess we can discuss at the next office hours, like when we want to target releasing this. And then next step is to change the milestone applier so that the new releases new PRs that get merged automatically get added to this new milestone. So I'm gonna open a PR for this in test infra. Let me just open the repo and then I'll share the screen for the test infra window. Let's see. Okay, you see test infra, right? All right, so I think it's in plugins.go actually. Yeah, so cluster API provider Azure. And so we're gonna change main to 1.3, the milestone we just created. And then I'm just gonna add a new one for whatever gets merged in branch release 1.2 to go into the milestone 1.2. And I'm going to save this and I'm going to open a PR for this. Let's go back to Edge. And I'm going to push it real quick from my terminal. Still waiting for my changes to be pushed.
So you opened a PR and merged it, or what happened?
No, not yet. So I just changed to the code locally to add the milestone. And right now I'm just waiting because my laptop's having struggle. But once once I'm done pushing the changes, I'll open the PR.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm creating a new branch because I was on main. Okay, there we go. Okay, pushing. Whenever you're recording, everything's twice as slow. Gosh, this is really bad.
Your internet bad or the laptop is slow?
No, just my laptop's being really slow. I wonder if it's Zoom recording that's making it struggle because I'm not running anything else. Okay, did it push? Gosh, okay. It's like hanging.
It's fine.
It's usually a lot faster. I'll try to quit other stuff, see if it helps.
Is it still pushing or like it's still trying to create a PR now?
Committing. Because I was on the main branch, I realized I need to switch branch. So I switched to a new branch, created the branch, and now it's, but I think it's just stuck. So let me just quit and restart. Because nothing's happening here. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, I think it was just stuck.
Mm.
All right. Sorry about that. This proves this is a real life demo. All right. So adding the 1.3 milestone for outcome. All right, and I will assign you. And then I think we need also someone from Provers. All right, this can wait. It's not really blocking for the release. It's just, you know, we should get it merged soon so that new PRs that merge get going to the right milestone. But for now, I'll move on to the next step, which is creating a tag. All right, so here we're releasing a minor release. So I'm going to follow this set of instructions. Let me share my terminal.
Just one question, like this milestone thing is also like only for minor releases, right? And minor and major, not for the patch releases.
For patch releases, we want to follow this. Yeah, sorry. For milestones, it's only for minor releases. Yeah, we should add a note there because we're only creating we're not creating a milestone per patch. So whenever it's a patch, you can skip directly to this part and you follow this here. For minor releases, you need to do the extra stuff for milestones. All right, so let's share the terminal. So I'm going to do here this. So I'll get match upstream. I need to check out main actually. I'm not already on it. Make sure I'm up to date, and then I'm going to check out a new branch for the release, which is going to be release 1.2 because we're releasing 1.2, and I'm going to push it upstream. Okay, so this created the 1.2 release branch, and now I'm going to create a tag 1.2.0. And just to make sure that I'm tagging the right thing, just going to check out my release branch that I just pushed here, and it's up to date with main. So we're releasing from main. So not doing anything special with commits, just releasing the latest at main. And so I'm going to do git tag -s. -s is to sign the tag with my GPG key. If you don't have a GPG key, you can do -a as an alternative, but I'm doing -s here. And -m, which is a message. And now I'm going to push the tag upstream. So I'm just following the line by line here. Cool, so that pushed the tag. This part. And this triggers a GitHub action. I don't know if this is gonna work. Yeah, this works, okay. It's gonna automatically trigger a GitHub action, which will take my tag and it will create a draft release for it. So what this is doing is it's gonna check out the code and it's gonna generate all the release artifacts. So it's gonna run make generate release. And it's going to generate release notes using the Kubernetes release notes tool and all the release notes that were added in PRs. And then it's going to create the draft release. So this takes 5 minutes. So we're going to wait for that to finish. And then the last step is, before we actually click release, is we have to promote the container, container image for the controller to prod. So we have this image pushing job, which runs automatically on pushes. So it's been triggered right now for my tag. So we have to wait for this to finish. Once this is complete, the image for the tag will be available in the staging repository. And then we can create a PR using make promote images to promote the image from staging to prod. So right now I'm just in a waiting state because I need to wait for 1, this to complete, and then 2, this to finish. Shouldn't take too long, but yeah, go ahead.
On the release notes, like, will there be a stage where we do some manual editing, or is it all automated?
Yeah, so great question. So it's the idea, so the goal is for it to be automatic, but I still sometimes have to do a bit of editing. So here, let's see. So the draft release was published. So let's go check it out. So usually what I do is I look through it and make sure that, the messages are consistent with, what was done and makes sense. And then look through the uncategorized ones and try to see if they were missing a label and how they can be, put into a category. Or if there's anything that's not really relevant, that shouldn't be a release note, I edit it out. So let's see here. Deprecation. So this is an announcement for Docker shim deprecation for Windows clusters, which will be replaced for containerd. So I think we want to leave that at the top so it's visible. That's good. Features. So we have Azure cluster template type, support for node taints. That's a feature as well. Yeah, I don't know if this is really a feature. I guess it is. It's user facing. It's not a bug fix. Yeah. Support passing headers. That's also a feature. Control plane tolerations and taints. This was to fix the Kubernetes at head tests. I don't know if this really constitutes as a fail. Yeah.
I think there were some CI failures that we fixed by this PR.
Yeah. It was to fix the conformance test that we're running against Kubernetes at head because there was a change in kubeadm that's going to be included in Kubernetes 124. That's not released yet. That basically removed the control or the master node labels. And so now we need to make sure we use the control plane taints and tolerations everywhere. So this is fixing a failing test. I guess that's fine. It's just not very relevant to users, I guess, who are consuming this release. That's the only thing I was like, should this be moved to a bug? But yeah. Azure machine pool track concurrent deletes. That was a bug fix. Fix system identity. That's also good. Fix template for system assigned identity. That's fine. Other cleanup. So this is a code refactor. Don't use. This is also cleanup of logs. Done pod. I'm going to move this out because it's not useful to users. Actually, I'm just going to move it up to here. Others. And then handle terminal errors. I think this is a bug fix. I should have been handling them before. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's generally good. I'll move this as well to others just because. Okay. Usually I would also, if it's a patch release, like try to see if there's anything missing. It's a bit tedious, like for a minor release. Like the reason I would do that is because sometimes it was it's possible that in review it was missed that something had a release note of none, where really it should have a release note because it's a big change. So I try to like scan to see if like there's nothing like huge missing. This actually seems like pretty light in terms of release notes. I'm surprised there aren't more things in here. I'm wondering if it did it right.
I think most of the changes were like related to async, so they were all like clubbed together as cleanup, I guess.
Right, but shouldn't async stuff have a release note?
Like individual release notes,
like for example, this should have a release note. Yeah. Azure Cluster Reconciler. That's missing for sure. I'm wondering if it's doing the release notes from 1.1.2, like in terms of like
calculating the diff. So it just
okay. It shouldn't though.
Was that cherry picked to a previous release, the one which you just copied?
No, it wasn't. It was, that's why I was looking here. It's the first I gets in is 1.2.0. So that's concerning. Okay, I will look into that before we hit publish, but I'm not sure if something, I think it's probably with the way we started doing tag releases or patch releases, it might not be, let's see what it's running.
Can we see like the
start SHA? Sorry?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Can we see the command that generates this release notes so that we can see what from where it's like calculating.
Yeah, I can just run it directly from here. I'm on the tag, I think. Should be. Is it make generate release note or make release notes? Let's make release notes. Yeah, it's possible it's calculating the diff. What is this? Cherry pick 1.1. Yeah, that's not good. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if I should go down the rabbit hole of debugging this right now. We might have to redo another recording for this is how you release CAPZ because we took a lot of detours here. Let's see. Is this done?
So we just like, we'll have to run that release notes thing manually and copy it over. Is that?
We can do
what
that,
we're
yeah,
doing?
but we should also fix the GitHub action so that,
Okay.
so my guess is that it's, so this is where it's defined. Make file. Release notes. It uses this like previous, where is it? Start rev, previous tag. And previous tag is sorted by, yeah, so I think it's looking at the previous release tag, which worked well before when we were kind of releasing more linearly and not doing cherry picks. But I think since we started doing this new pattern of like releasing minors and then releasing patches in between, which are cherry picks and not always releasing from the main branch, which we were doing before, that's not accurate anymore because it's going to look at the release in terms of like from the previous release, which was a patch release, to now. And it's going to include everything that was before that, that was not part of the patch release.
Right.
So I think we need to fix this logic to look at the previous minor release.
Oh, yeah, previous
or
tag for that, like depending on if it's a minor or patch,
yeah,
it should like.
right. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think that's why. So in the meantime, I can still finish just to show you the end of the process, and then we can figure out the release notes separately. Where's my release instructions? So now that my image is built and it's pushed to staging, I already exported my GitHub token. So I'm just going to do make promote images. And that basically runs this kpromo binary, which is published by the release team of Kubernetes. And it's a really awesome tool that will look through the look through the staging repository and then create a PR to promote the image digests of the projects that we're promoting. So in this case, I can show you where that's being done. Is here. So we're doing a project Cluster API Azure. That's the name of the project under the GCP repository. And then tag is going to be our release tag, and fork is my fork by default. So, and then image reviewers, we're actually doing something interesting with that is we're actually just looking directly at the owner's file to get all the alias or all the GitHub aliases of people who are maintainers and then just assigning them to the PR.
Okay, got it.
And it looks like it's installing kpromo because I deleted my entire tools bin directory earlier to test something else.
So, like just to go back on the release notes thing, is that
Yes.
something we can edit after we publish a release, just in case if we miss something?
Oh yeah, of course. So right now it's just a draft. I can publish the release even if the notes aren't ready. I mean, if we can figure out the notes, that'd be better, but we can always go back and edit a release afterwards if we realize something's missing. And in fact, I think we might want to check if, because I think 1.1 was pretty light and now, or is it? Yeah, now it makes more sense. I think this might also have had the same issue where we published like a patch and it's probably only doing the diff with the patch instead of doing the whole thing.
Right.
So I guess, do we want to, for release notes, does it make more sense to show all the changes that happened since, like if we're releasing a minor, should we be showing all changes that happened since the last minor, including the ones that were cherry picked into a patch already? Or should we exclude the ones that were into the last patch and only show the diff?
So yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on how most users are updating, like, and also what we show, like changes since what. I don't know what exactly is being displayed. Can you open that?
Right now it's just saying changes. It used to be, I thought we used to say changes since, and I guess it made more sense back then. Is it? Yeah, it was like notable changes since, but in this case, it was from patch to patch and patches contain features. And each minor was a new API version. So we were always releasing from main. We were never doing cherry picks.
Right.
But now we could very well say changes from, 1.1.0.
Yeah.
And then just put all the changes between 1.1 and 1.2. Okay,
yeah.
PR was created successfully.
Yeah, I think like whatever we are following, we just have to like mention that in the after like changes since. If you're going to do the way that it works right now, we'll just say it's changes since 1.1. Whatever the latest patch release.
Yeah, we could do that. Okay, so yeah, so the PR opened to add 1.2.0.
Cool.
It's the manifest, and I'm gonna say hold cancel. Okay, so let's so next steps are for this PR to merge, and then once this PR is merged and we figure out release notes, so just going back to my instructions, the last steps are to manually format and categorize the release notes, publish the release, and then finally announce the release, which usually just means posting on Slack and saying, hey, there's a new release. So that's pretty much it. This was a little bit of detour, but hopefully we can record another one next time. That's a bit more straightforward. And yeah, I'll follow up and try to figure out the release notes. I will stop the recording now.